Get over here.
Why come?
Don't ask why I come. Just get over here right now, Kelvin Gemstone. Now go sit down, the both of you.
What is up, guys? TYSON DELACRUZ here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Joy Reid on live television had Amanda Calhoun, a psychiatrist, on and said, hey, if your family voted for a different party and you voted for Kamala Harris, you don't need to go to Thanksgiving dinner. You don't need to go to holiday dinner. You get to take a break. Besides college students getting milk and cookies because they can't cope with real world issues, softer than soft serve yogurt.
Other colleges and elite universities have found themselves also in controversy post-election. Over at Georgetown University in Washington, D.C., word broke that students at the McCourt School of Public Policy would have a self-care suite to recover from the election. According to the publication, The Free Press, the suite had Legos, coloring books, milk, and cookies.
This woman on live TV says it's okay not to show up to your family's events because you voted for different parties. No, that is not okay. We are adults. We are allowed to have different decisions. And this is probably one of the most disgraceful things that I've seen on live television.
The readout. We're going to try to get some answers. So joining me now is Dr. Amanda Calhoun, Chief Resident of the Yale University Psychiatry Program. Thank you so much for being here, Dr. Calhoun. I want to start with asking what kind of, without, obviously giving away any confidential information, concerns are coming your way in this moment?
Ooh, there are so many concerns, Joy, and thank you so much for having me. I think, and what you very eloquently stated, people are concerned about their human rights, their existence, their safety. And I think, when we're talking about people who are worried about, getting gender affirming care, we're talking about people who are worried about being able to get access to women's health care, to, life-saving procedures, to abortions. That has a very, very devastating downstream effect on one's mental health. And when, as a psychiatrist, a child psychiatrist, but I also work with adults, we also see a lot of children who are born to parents who are struggling. They might have mental health issues, and those children sometimes develop very severe behavioral problems, suicidality. And I have a lot of concerns about the supports that those kids are going to have going forward.
Yeah, and we know that there's been a vast increase since the election, 700% increase in calls from LGBTQ youth to the Trevor Project, which offers a phone, online chat, or text to people. 700% increase in calls, texts, and chats compared to prior weeks. So people are scared, but they don't know what's going to happen to them. But I wonder if also, are people challenged with the idea of how do you interact with people who voted for this? Right? If you are an LGBTQ person and someone in your family voted essentially against your rights, or you're a woman, knowing that, this man was calling people the B word, J.D. Vance was literally calling Kamala Harris the trash and said, we're going to take out the trash. I know a lot of
I have to pause this. Where's the rhetoric from Joe Biden calling all of Trump supporters garbage? Okay. And yes, I know this has been an Control-Alt-Delete election, an A option election, right? An unalived child election. But here's the thing. If you dig deeper into the policies, that has already been given to the state. It is the state's decision. You got to get it straight, Joy. And you perpetuating this ridiculous rhetoric, sad.
Black women were incredibly triggered by that. And if you then meet somebody and they voted for the people who called you trash, or if you're Puerto Rican, someone voted that way, do you recommend, just from a psychological standpoint, being around them? We got the holidays coming up.
So I love that you asked this question because, there is a push, I think just a societal norm that if somebody is your family, that they are entitled to your time. And I think the answer is absolutely not. So if you are going into a situation where you have family members, where you have close friends who you know have voted in ways that are against you, like what you said, against your livelihood, and it's completely fine to not be around those people and to tell them why, to say, I have a problem with the way that you voted because it went against my very livelihood and I'm not going to be around you this holiday. I need to take some space for me. And I actually talk to, adults as well as advising parents for children. I mean, I think, I don't think that you should force children. I don't think you should force adults to be around people just because they're your family. I think there's a level of, need to establish boundaries. And if you feel like you need to establish boundaries with people, whether they're your family or not, I think you should very much be entitled to do so. And I think it may be essential for your mental health.
I do agree with that. It is important for all adults, period, end of story, to have boundaries. We are our own individual people, and we can commit to our own sanity by creating boundaries. But to actively say that you don't have to be around people during the holiday season, specifically your family, because they voted for a different political party is crazy. Why not have conversations around this like adults? Okay. And hey, I get it. Sometimes family are probably the most triggering things to be around, especially during the holidays. But if you feel so called not to show up to a family gathering because they voted for a different political party, you're soft serving, okay? Just my personal opinion. You can muster it up, set a time limit, set an alarm, have the family dinner, and then leave.
Do you recommend people limit social media time? And my executive producer, I can almost see her looking at me as,
it should be limited
as
anyway.
I'm asking this question in this moment.
I think one should think about how the social media is affecting them. So for some people,
100%.
there are actually social media groups that can be quite grounding. That can be, maybe it's their only way to get some support, especially if maybe they're in environments where they're not feeling the support. So I think there can be healing aspects to social media, but I think you have to check in with yourself. So if you find you're going down a rabbit hole and getting in arguments on social media and seeing articles that are causing you to be angry and your blood pressure is increasing and your heart rate is increasing, then probably take a break from the social media. So I wouldn't say, 100%, definitely keep tabs on it.
And let me ask, how do you explain to children, if a child asks, why did the man who insults people, who's cruel, who did really vulgar, gross things that looked like a sexual nature on camera, and you had to take your kids away when he's on TV half the time because of the things he says and does? How do you explain to a kid why that person is the president?
I think we need to explain that there are a lot to our children, that there are a lot of people who have these mindsets about women, and a lot of people that have, very damaging and concerning mindsets about women, about Black people, about transgender people, and that these people exist. And so I think we should be very upfront with children about that, because there are people that supported him. And there are a lot of people walking around today that support that rhetoric and that language, and children should be aware of it. They should protect themselves, and we should help to protect them.
It's the same reason, Joy, why you're on live TV as an anchor, openly pointing fingers about continuous racism, yet continuing the rhetoric of racism through your platform. Take a look at this.
Our final sprint, having arrived at that point in the election season where basically we on this side of the TV screen have said all we can. We've laid out the stakes in this crucial election, where one side stands for freedom while the other meets the textbook definition of fascism, namely a far-right dictatorial regime like Hitler's Germany or Franco's Spain or Mussolini's Italy, but also white-ruled South Africa before Mandela and the Black majority took control, or Vladimir Putin's Russia, Viktor Orban's Hungary, or Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela today, that suppresses the rights of women and minorities, uses the military to execute the whims of a strongman dictator, and controls and suppresses the press. education, the arts, rewrites history to suit a favored and dominant racial class, and foments extravagant corruption in order to enrich the dictator and his friends.
Sounds like the Democratic Party. Sounds like the Democrats. Sounds like the Democrats, exactly. Joy, you are a perpetual finger pointer, and continuing this rhetoric is not moving the country forward by any capacity. This is why your television program and your viewership is incredibly tanking down the toilet. Okay, this is why 33% of minorities voted for Donald Trump.
What do you make of the demographics here? I mean, Trump got 1 out of every 3 voters of color.
No.
Yeah.
1 out of
33%.
No. Really?
Yeah.
When you say color, you mean like black, brown, everything. Oh.
This is why the map, when you look at the voting map, is predominantly red. To sit here and to say that people don't want to vote for this or don't want this in, you are lying to your viewers. Stop. You should be sued for defamation of character. She continues this rhetoric directly to her followers on her social media platform. Joy obviously is not taking the landslide very well.
Hey, I just want to give some free advice to the white progressives, particularly white progressive women who may be thinking about marching against the Trump victory, maybe putting back on the P-word hats and doing that thing. I would just say probably don't send any of those invites to any black women you know. I'm just going to tell you right now, they're not coming. Like, I'm pretty sure black women have resigned from the Save America Coalition, Save Democracy Coalition, and definitely the Save the Democratic Party Coalition. I think that's probably not happening. I would just keep those invites maybe among your own friends, because I don't think they're coming. But yeah, I think black women are now on the Save Black Women, prioritize Black men, and prioritize Black communities, Black businesses, and that. And, you know, the Black spaces, but Save America, Save the Democratic Party. Yeah, I don't think that's happening.
I don't think she's doing so bueno. And this continuous rhetoric from the left is crazy ridiculous. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop your comments down below. Smash the like button, share, subscribe. And as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next.